everyone, Nathan here. Welcome to Content Free Time Interviews. Today I'm having a chat with Mostly Positive. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is Javier. I run the channel Mostly Positive. And I pretty much just post whatever I want, whatever I'm feeling. I do a weekly vlog just to as a mental health thing, but beyond that, I like to post just kind of whatever comes to mind. I usually try to do funny stuff, but occasionally I'll try to tackle a more serious topic.
I'm kind of the same way with my channel because I've been working on the thing for 8 years now, and I have no idea. I've had no idea what I want to do with it. Like I have all these different ideas. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. And this interview thing is just the latest in ideas that I've had on the back burner for like years.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing interview style things as well, but it's a matter of like you got to get that confidence to reach out, and I'm not totally there yet.
Right? It took me 7 years, so I totally get it.
Yeah.
So your channel's pretty relatively new. Is this your first YouTube
Yes.
channel?
Yeah, I mean I have my personal channel that I've attempted something before, but like not really. I didn't really try. But this would be my like first like legitimate attempt.
How did you come up with the name Mostly Positive? And is that was that your handle before your YouTube channel or is that new?
It's new. Yeah, I thought of it for this channel. I'm a very jaded person. I'm kind of, I don't want to say negative, more like realistic, and maybe that comes across as negative. So that's kind of like what that's how the channel name came to be, Mostly Positive. I want to try to be mostly positive. But like, you see all these other channels that are like positive like 24/7, and I'm just like, okay, that's not realistic. Let's make an attempt, but let's be real with ourselves.
Right? That's actually pretty similar to how I came up with my channel name because I was thinking the same thing because like I saw all these crazy YouTubers and streamers. They're like, "Hey guys, what's up? It's you, bro, guy here playing the games." I was like, I'm content. I figured,
Yeah.
I figured, I figured it could be a double meaning. Well, I'm making content and I'm content. Content
uh,
free time. Yeah.
it's a good name. I like it.
Thank you, thank you. You have a really high quality setup. It looks like at least your video is super high quality. Your audio is good. You got a fancy mic. What kind of stuff are you using there?
The Shure SM7B, Sony A6600. So I'm just like in general, I'm like really into this like video and audio stuff. And this was, I wouldn't say it was ever necessarily meant for content creation. It was just more like, I talk to my buddies all the time, and I want the best quality when I'm messing around with them. And it just so happened like, oh man, everything I've purchased throughout the like past like 6 years have just kind of like it just sort of worked out for doing this YouTube stuff.
Nice. When you're chatting with your buddies, do you guys just talk or do you play games while you're chatting or is it a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. They're honestly they're two of my best friends, two of my only friends. I mean, like nowadays it's so difficult to make friendships and to actually like keep them. So I honestly like I cherish them so fucking much. Especially with like, man, my life went downhill at the very beginning of the year, and these guys have been there for me through the entire time, and I'm just like I'm so lucky to have them. We're on a Discord call almost like every day for hours at a time, and it's like we don't have to be playing anything. We can just be there and just talk, or just like sit in silence for like at 15 minutes and just make a comment. And I mean like that's just how it is.
Man, I used to do some of that like back in the day when I'd play online games with my friends. We'd just sit, gosh, this was probably before Discord even. So we'd just like call each other and do just usually we'd be on the phone while playing like the one that sticks out to me is Warhawk for PS3. I don't know if you ever heard of that game.
I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the first multiplayer games like back in the day when online play started being a like a thing. We would just sit on the phone for hours playing that. And but since then, like I've never been able to really recapture that because I don't know, maybe I've been focused too much on work and stuff, but trying to get back into it again, part of why I'm doing these interviews. And yeah, I totally hear you on the friends thing too, because like, oh, that's another reason why I'm doing these interviews. So hopefully we can start
Hmm.
chatting more.
Hmm.
It's cool to
Absolutely.
find some like-minded people into games and whatnot.
I uh I don't mean to throw off your groove here, but I just saw your dual disc in the background. I effing love it. I love it
Thank you,
so
thank
much.
you.
That's
No, I was
awesome.
wondering when someone would comment on my shelf. I had the shelf in the back of every single video. Not a single person's commented on it yet. So thank you.
Oh, I love it. I let me hold on because I have one that I can pull right off right now. I have this Atem figure. I
Very
love it so
nice.
much. I got a Bakura one in the other room. I bought the three Egyptian gods. They had a run maybe like 2 years ago, and like they're really high quality and they're so nice. When Slifer came in, I was just like, oh my God, this is so great.
Like, are you just a fan of the first show, first season, or do you like when did you fall off the Yu-Gi-Oh bandwagon, or are you still on it?
When did you fall off? That's
There's
I
like no
totally
one
get that.
who's carried through all the way through. Is there?
Up and down, no, absolutely not. Up until 5Ds. I really enjoyed 5Ds. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched like a good chunk of the beginning, maybe some of the middle, and then like the very, very end. Um, and I saw like the first like maybe like 5 episodes of Zexels. And then that was around the time where I just stopped watching TV in general.
You made it pretty far. I only made it like part way through GX. Did you
Those intros are so catchy, at
right?
least up until 5Ds.
Right? Did you play the card game too?
I mean, like the answer is yes. But I only play it in video game format. I let the video game handle all the rules and stuff. That's too much for me. That's just
Right?
in general with any card game.
That's the way to do it. That's why I stopped playing because the only ones that like I got tired of playing against the computer, and the only people that I wanted to play with in real life had these cards that were just like paragraphs and paragraphs of effects and stacking like this. If you play this, it does this and this. I
It's
got
too much
so
to deal
tired
with.
of it. Yeah, I just couldn't like I don't have to read every single card every single time I play this game.
Let me just put something on the field and see what happens.
Yeah, right. What software do you use for videos?
The Adobe Creative Suite. That's what I use. There was a I went to school for this like video and audio stuff for a little while. Um and they give you like a license tied to your school email for this stuff. And literally up until I haven't been in school for like three, I want to say 3 years. And I've had that license all the way up until like last August. And they finally cut me off. And I'm just like, oh, that hurts. So I'm now relying on maybe not the best methods, but man, as soon as I got that message, oh, it's expiring in 7 days, I was like, nope, no, it's not. It sure
Right.
ain't.
That was the main reason I switched to, or maybe not switched to. I've dabbled in a few different editing softwares. I used software. I used Premiere for a bit, and then I've just stuck with what used to be Sony Vegas. Some other company brought them out. Now it's just Vegas Pro, and I've been using that for like the last 8 years because I actually got it in a humble bundle for like
Mm,
$5,
mm.
and it's like the best $5 purchase I've ever made because it's
Oh,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
so easy to use, and it's maybe a little buggier and may not have all the features that Premiere has, but it works.
I'm too deep into this to go for anything else.
That too, yeah. And I've gotten so familiar with Vegas, it's like, why bother learning
Mm.
something else?
And Photoshop is so fun to use. It's just so fun to mess around.
Do you Photoshop? What kind of stuff do you use with Photoshop? Is it just shit posting?
uh very quick shit posting with my friends. It's nice to be able to just like do something real quick in relation to whatever it is we're talking about. But I in terms of content creation, thumbnails.
I see a Dragon Ball Z poster back, or I guess a Dragon Ball Super poster back there.
Hmm.
How long you been a Dragon Ball fan?
Probably at like the end of middle school, I think is when I generally started watching anime and stuff. And it's funny because like before that, I hated Dragon Ball.
Really?
I absolutely hated Dragon Ball. Um, and I think it was like a matter of like, wait, what's up with these like all these buff dudes like fighting and shit and yelling all the time? Like, that's just so dumb. Same with mechas. Like, I hated mechas up until I watched Gurren Lagann. But like once you actually give it a try, it's like, oh wait, no, I get it. This is great. This is fantastic.
Right? I still haven't watched an anime or a mecha anime that I've enjoyed aside from Gurren Lagann because Gurren Lagann is just so
It's
good,
so good. It's my favorite. It's
right?
my absolute favorite.
Right? It's
I
like
love the it has such a like a bro mentality, but like in a super like non-toxic way. Like you just supporting each other and just like your whole crew and making it to the very end. It's like it's intoxicating. It's so good.
right. So Gurren Lagann that's your all-time favorite anime?
Yep, whole time.
Is Dragon Ball up there too?
Yeah, it is. Let me I have like top 5 on my Twitch channel just for easy remembrance. Yeah, top 5 for anime with Gurren Lagann, Fate Zero, Full Metal Alchemist, Dragon Ball, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. I would say the first season
Good
or the
taste.
the first series.
Good taste. What Dragon Ball though? Like, is original Dragon Ball your favorite?
I put yeah, I put original Dragon Ball, but man, Super is so good, and it ended off that final arc was so good that it might be Super over the original.
Really? And over Z?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely over Z. I like the original over Z.
I can see that, but I'm surprised you like Super better than Z.
It's just so good, especially that final arc. And it probably also helps that like because with Z, you're just kind of like, well, when I watched it, it was just kind of like a straight watch through. But with Super, I was watching it as it was coming out in Japan, and and like every week going into work, I had a buddy of mine who was also watching it at the same time. So it's just like I guess it was a little more personal.
I totally get that. Yeah, because it really helps to like be able to talk about something like week to week, like as it's going,
Hmm.
makes it so much more enjoyable. Full Metal Alchemist is actually my favorite anime, and I think that's part of why I prefer the original over Brotherhood.
I do too. I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Especially with the movie, like, oh, that tops it off, man.
Yeah. Right? Because I normally I watch stuff subbed, but I really like the dub of the first Full Metal. And so I watched that as a kid, like week to week. I was so excited for each new episode. And then when Brotherhood came out, I was like, oh, well, I liked the dub. So I maybe I'll just wait until they release the whole thing and in English. And then I did, and then it kind of ruined it for me.
I love Vic Mignogna, the voice actor for Edward. He's so talented, man.
So good. Yeah, no,
Hmm.
I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. He is probably, at least for anime, definitely my favorite voice actor.
Yeah, same, same. That's it's such a shame how everything went down with him. And I don't I'm on his side. Just like I don't mean to like try to be like controversial and shit, but like there's just like there's no like real proof that he ever did anything wrong. And people within like that sphere, that anime sphere, video game sphere, like, and I guess just in general, people are just like, you're guilty until proven innocent. And that's like such a shame.
Not only that, but like even the stuff he was accused of doing, like I'm pretty sure when it came down to like the details, it was like, oh yeah, he hugged me when I didn't ask for a hug. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
really, you're not even allowed to hug your fans? Like you
Mm-hmm.
would think
Mm-hmm.
that most fans would be totally like wanting that. Um, I mean, not in a weird way, but there's so many like rabid fangirls or fanboys that would like love to get hugged from their favorite voice actors. I'm sure he just was like having a good time at a con or something. He's like, hey, nice to meet
Mm-hmm.
you. I don't know. Yeah,
And
I'm on his side too
and
until
nowadays,
something else comes out.
you know, these actors and whatever, they have like an extra person just off to the side, probably like recording 24/7, like in case like there are any claims of anything, like, no, we got everything on camera. You're obviously lying.
Right. I was really glad that they were able to get him in the new Brawley movie before he got canceled.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's my favorite Dragon Ball film. That one was so good. I
Right.
saw Battle of Gods in theaters when I was in high school, and that was like, man, that was an experience. Like that theater was packed, and like it was like everyone was like laughing and shit, and I was just like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah, I love seeing anime movies in theaters. I've seen all the Dragon Ball, the since Battle of Gods, I've seen all of them in theaters, the Dragon Ball movies. And just last week I went to go watch, Regal does their Ghibli Fest thing. So I went
Uh-huh.
to go watch Castle or no, not Castle in the Sky. Howl's Moving Castle in
Uh-huh.
theaters. That was fun too. What games you been playing lately?
Oh man, I've been trying to play Baldur's Gate. And let me preface, that game is fucking incredible. It's so good. But
Right?
once you get into Act 3, it becomes such a slog. And maybe this is a me problem because I have, and I'm gonna call this a problem. I have a problem with always trying 100% games. And like I I know Baldur's Gate's not going to be one that I'm going to be able to do, but I have that sort of mentality of like I want to do everything, I want to see everything, I want to talk to everyone. And in Act 3, my God, it slows everything down to a snail's pace. Um so I've been taking like a 2 week break from that, and just the other day I was playing Fate Extella, and I accidentally just like ran through that game, and I started playing Fate Extella Link, just like listening to podcasts and just playing the game. And then last night I was playing Ocarina of Time, the that unofficial PC port with online with my buddy in the game with me running around together. It's one of the coolest experiences ever.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. Did they add multiplayer elements to it, or is it just seeing your buddy in the game?
So like I said, it's an unofficial thing. And I think like last month they someone like modded in the ability, because it used to be like you run around and you see like a little fairy, and that's your friend, but they literally like just added in like a full model like running around with you. So it was so fun last night just
I
doing that.
I wonder like because I feel like that would be something that would be really fun like to start with, but then like so can the person you're playing with go on like any other map or do they have to stay near you?
No, they can go anywhere. Like we were literally just like doing gold sculptulas, just doing side quests, doing the happy mask stuff, just doing whatever. And it makes it they made it to where like you can just like warp to the person. So it made doing the side quests even easier.
That's cool. And there's the stuff like community Does it contribute to the same pool of your like inventory, or do you have separate like inventories?
Sort of sort of separate. Like if you collect like arrows, it'll fill up in both inventories, fill up same with rupees, but whenever you actually use them, it's separate.
And then when you make progress in the game, it makes it for both people?
Yeah, it makes it for
Okay.
both.
Okay, that does sound pretty cool.
Yeah. And whenever we finish that, we're gonna tackle Majora's Mask too. And that one I'm a little nervous about running our separate directions with just like how crazy that game is with time and side quests and stuff.
Does that one have an unofficial PC port too?
Yeah, both of them do. I
I
believe so. I'm pretty sure.
I did not know that. I heard about the Ocarina of Time one, but I didn't hear about the Majora's Mask one. Maybe a tough question, maybe not, but what's your favorite video game?
Super easy question.
Is it?
Near replicant version 1.22, whatever. That one.
I played maybe 2 or 3 hours of Near Automata. I'm not super familiar with the series. Is Replicant just like an enhanced version of that?
Well, it's the game that started near, but technically it's a sequel to and ending to Drakengard 3, which is a whole thing on its own. In Japan, that's where Near Replicant came out on like the PlayStation 3, I think. And in the US, I think we got maybe both versions, but PlayStation got Replicant and Xbox got Gestalt. And the version I played was the remake.
And what do you like about it? Is it characters, story, music, just everything?
Just everything, man. Mostly the music. It's unbelievably good. The soundtrack is unbelievably good, and that my top three games all have that in common. The soundtrack is absolutely incredible. The other two games are number two is Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and three is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Aside from music, the characters are just like so wonderful. The story is absolutely fantastic. Like it's absolutely one of those games that like you finish it and then you're like, oh my god, what is in life? What am I gonna do now? Like I feel like your favorite game should probably like that's something that should just like randomly pop into your head every now and then, just thinking about it. And I think it does this like fantastic thing where like it doesn't matter whether or not you do the side quest. And there's even like one specific side quest where the end reward is is nothing, but it's like one of the most like convoluted shit. Like you're doing it, and even the characters are like, is this even worth it? Like this guy is just making us run around for no reason, and in the end, it's not worth it. But like you do all these things because like these characters like always have something to say, and it's always interesting, and like it builds more character, and you're like, oh my god, like this is great. I'm doing this to hear what they have to say, not for any sort of reward at the end.
I've only played Near Automata. I haven't played any of the Xenoblade. I've played like an hour of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I definitely want to get into Pokemon, but before that, Baldur's Gate. I want to go back
Okay.
to that for a sec. Is this the first Baldur's Gate game you've played?
Yeah, I tried Baldur's Gate 1 for like 10 minutes and I was just like, "Oh my God, this is so dated." And usually I don't have an issue with that type of stuff, but it's like not only is it dated, but it's also like PC level dated. It's not like NES where it's like easy. It's sort of easy to go back to. Like PC dated is just like just about nothing works, and it's like it's difficult to do things, especially with like a CRPG.
Do you prefer Western or computer RPGs or JRPGs, or are they about the same for you?
JRPGs,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
What are some of your other favorite JRPGs?
Yeah, everything Pokemon. I love Final Fantasy, Octopath Traveler. Oh my God, those games are incredible. That's another one with absolutely incredible soundtrack. Like to the point where I was just like, oh, who's the guy who made the music? Natsu something, off the top of my head I can't remember, but it's like I'm gonna remember that guy because like that's
I
how
don't
good it
remember
is.
him
Like
now, but I'm going to.
I'm going to. See, the thing is like I like just about every game under the sun, except MMOs and MOBAs. Those are just about the only ones I don't like. And it's to the point where like I have like this long ass list of games that I've beaten and what system I've beaten on. Sorry if that went through. I accidentally pressed play on something. Um, yeah, that's how much I love video games.
Awesome. It's funny you'd say that about MMOs because when I'm playing Baldur's Gate, honestly, that's like one of my top complaints about it is like it feels like an MMO without any of the MMO elements. And that's, I feel like that's a good thing in probably most cases, but it also makes it feel a little empty to me. Like, that's why so I've only played Baldur's Gate 3 with friends so far. I haven't played
Mhm.
it single player at all. It feels to me when I'm playing like a 4 player MMO. It's a weird, like I guess a small an SMO. But I've been having a fun time playing it that way. What don't you like about MMOs? Is it just because they're all like, find me 10 fangs and bring them back to me? Or
Yeah, see that something like that doesn't totally bother me, but in general, MMOs do not respect your time at all. Like they just keep adding more and more content. But a lot of the times it's just like do this like super boring thing 100,000 times to get this one mount. Oh, you do this raid 100,000 times to get this for a chance to get this one mount, and it's just like it just keeps happening. On top of that, they don't end. They just if you really think about it, they don't end, and they're never going to end until they stop making money. So like that story, you're never going to get a conclusion to that story. You might get a conclusion to the arc, but it'll keep going as long as they make money. And I'm not totally like I'm not down with that.
yeah, I guess now that you mention it, if you're a completionist, that would kind of like you can't be a completionist with an MMO.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm not a fan of paying monthly either, especially when they have all these microtransactions and stuff. It feels like really scummy to me. That being said, the only one that I do like is 14, Final Fantasy 14, sorry.
Oh yeah,
Um, and it's like that one is probably the one game that sort of respects your time because I'm not a fan of making alt characters either. And with 14, like you can play every single class, you can do literally everything under one character. And that genuinely feels good to me.
right. Kind of reminds me of the RuneScape days. Did you ever play that game?
Oh man, like very little. Very, very little.
That's what I liked about that one because it was like not only was it one of the first MMOs in general, but it was also the first one where you could just like do anything. You didn't have to pick a class. You could go off and do whatever. What's your favorite Final Fantasy?
The easy answer would be 7, but I really, really love Final Fantasy 3 and 13.
You mean American 3 or Japanese 3?
American 3. Well, see, because I think Japanese 3 is now American 3.
Right. Okay.
So whatever, I think it's original 3.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 13's I feel kind of an unusual pick. Are
Oh,
you
absolutely. Absolutely it is. I totally get it.
were you one of the ones who were like, yeah, it gets good 20 hours in, but it gets really good 20 hours in?
See, the thing is, I love it so much that like nowadays I'm like, it gets good as soon as you start it, man.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I know people like to rag on it, but like I'm like I said, man, I love video games so much that like I can play a bad game and still enjoy it. And let me throw one at you right now. I know you're a Sonic fan. Uh I unexpectedly ended up loving Sonic Forces. And I know I yeah,
Ooh,
I know people don't like that one, but I ended up loving it just because it had that same Gurren Lagann bro mentality, and like that was the thing that got me to love it.
I liked the idea of Sonic Forces. I thought everything that it was trying to do, I was all for. I just felt like it was executed poorly. Like
Well,
every,
any
ev
anything modern Sonic is executed poorly.
that's true. But like every time I felt like that game was getting good, the level would end like right before it
uh,
hit the really good part, I felt. So I don't know, maybe that's a good thing because it left me wanting more, but I felt like it just left me wanting a little too much more, you know?
to get back to Final Fantasy with 13, like I know people like the biggest complaint is like, oh, it's a hallway simulator, but it's like a lot of the number one point people like to bring up is like, well, so was Final Fantasy 10, and people love that. See, the thing is, like, Final Fantasy 13 was my first Final Fantasy, so like it holds this like special place in my heart. But I don't know why, but like I was definitely familiar with the series before then. Like I definitely like knew of it, like I knew the monsters and all that stuff. So like maybe that's why it made it a little easier to get into it. But yeah, I mean, 13 is great. You know, you just have to read like a novel to understand all the backstory and what's actually happening, but that's okay. It's great. It's a
I was
great game.
They did the same thing with 15, and I actually 15 might be my favorite Final Fantasy.
Oh man, I've started that one up twice and couldn't get into it.
I
But
get that too.
within like the past, I think maybe like 2 years ago, I started this thing where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play every Final Fantasy in order. And right now I'm up to five, but I have played and beaten seven, seven remake, 13, and 13 2.
Okay, I was gonna ask if you played the sequels to 13. What did you think about 13 too?
Uh it was great. It was really great. That's definitely something I'm excited to play because I remember the music being really good. It was missing something that 13 had that I can't really pinpoint, but it is a really good game on its own.
Do you have any other favorite series or genres?
Man, we can get into Pokemon. I know you like
Oh yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
ask you
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Heart
Um,
Gold and Soul Silver. Absolute. I'm a Gen 2 guy, but with that Gen 4 remake, oh my God, so good. And nothing has come close to reaching the levels of Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And that makes me so sad as like Pokemon, like man, Pokemon is like an unbelievable franchise, but it has gone so downhill. But I'm so invested and I love Pokemon so much that I'll buy whatever trash they put out and I'll still semi enjoy it for the most part.
yeah, and it's funny because I feel like overall you're probably right that it's gone downhill, but meanwhile, they're coming up with some really cool ideas. Like Arceus had some
Oh,
really
yeah,
great
yeah, yeah.
ideas. The
That
open
was
world stuff.
coming off of the trash that was Sword and Shield, and then those that Diamond and Pearl remake, which was also pure garbage. Like I was going into that with the mentality of like, man, I'm gonna enjoy it, but like I'm expecting absolutely nothing. But then playing it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is fantastic. Like, how did they do this?
Right. Even Sword and Shield, I feel like had some good ideas, like the open world, or I mean the what's the wild area? It was the start of Arceus. Like you could see, okay, we want to go for this open world vibe. And also aesthetically, I feel like it's one of the best Pokemon. Just aesthetically, I feel like it's one of the best Pokemon games. It's got some really cool environments. I think personally.
Mhm. See, the thing is, it's like I have. Do you know what a living dex is?
Yeah,
I have one of those, and I know 100% for a fact that's what ruined my experience with Sword and Shield because like you have all of these Pokemon, and I'm like, all right, off the bat, I already have 75% of them, and I don't really have an incentive to catch those same Pokemon other than to get like the shiny charm. Most people see like old Pokemon and they're like, oh, I actually don't have that Pokemon. I'm glad that they're back in this game. Um, but I don't have that because I already have them all. I've already caught them all.
right.
And on top of that, that was the game that had the decks cut, which was unbelievable because like in the end, people like proved that like, oh, these are just the 3D models or these are the 3DS game models. So it's like, what's their excuse? Like, what was the point of it?
Right. Yeah, no, that's probably why I kind of enjoyed Sword and Shield because I didn't have a living dex is something that I wanted for years, and Sword and Shield was actually the first Pokemon game where I completed even the national dex.
Mm.
With the exception of maybe I may have gotten the red and blue one as a kid, but it's been 25 years, so I don't even remember. But yeah, I can see why having a living dex going in would kind of make it not a very fun experience. How long have you
Mm.
got a living dex?
Since X and Y, that's when I made it, and I've been updating it since.
Yeah, I heard that just like yesterday they announced that they were closing down the Wii U and 3DS servers, which I was surprised by because I thought they already did that.
They closed the eShop, but online play was still up.
Oh,
But
okay.
now they're shutting that down too. But they said Pokemon Bank is going to be like the only thing that works.
That's what I was gonna say. I was super relieved to hear that because ever since they introduced the concept of Pokemon Bank, I was like, oh God, what's gonna happen when the 3DS online play shuts down?
Yeah,
So hopefully, even if they keep that online, like for now, but they ever decide to make it offline, hopefully they like actually convert it to where like you can use the app entirely offline somehow just to transfer those
right.
Pokemon up because it would really suck to make it so that you could never transfer those Pokemon between gens what 7 and 8 again, 6 and 7.
6, 7, 8, the Gen 1 and 2 with Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Um, and then you can trade up from the Game Boy games all the way up. So like literally everything before the Switch.
Well, you couldn't. I guess maybe now you can with some weird like hacking tricks, but you could never transfer between the Game Boy games and the Game Boy Advance games originally.
No, the Game Boy Advance you can transfer up to Gen 4
Right.
and then go on from there. But the original cartridge versions of the Game Boy games you couldn't, but the Virtual Console on the 3DS is compatible with Bank.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Charizard.
Yeah.
Easy. Charizard.
It's
Grew
hard
up
to beat.
watching the show, the first movie, absolutely incredible. The third movie as well, like really good Charizard fight scenes. Oh, just an amazing Pokemon.
I
And
know.
then Gen 6 introducing the Mega Evolutions X and Y. Y is my favorite. Black shiny Charizard. Oh my god, it's so good. The sorry, I'm just going off.
Oh,
I,
you're
I
good.
love this so much. Did you ever see the Pokemon Origins anime?
Oh, I did. Yeah, wasn't that
Yeah.
good?
It was fantastic. Oh my god, it was so good. And then with Mewtwo being my second favorite, seeing the Mewtwo battle, the Charizard versus Mewtwo battle in that Mega Mewtwo Y. Oh my god, so good, so good.
Those are so basic picks, but I can't knock them
Yeah,
because they are such cool Pokemon.
yeah. And I see with Mewtwo, I have this thing where like I love it when like the big bad like in order to get like more powerful, they actually end up getting like smaller, like kind of like Frieza, which was Mewtwo's whole shtick. It's like, oh my god, it's so cool, and like its special attack just like gets like an Omega boost. I'm pretty sure it's like the greatest special attacker and probably like the strongest legendary as well. It's just like everything about it just makes it so good.
You think they'll ever bring back Megas?
Man, man, don't talk to me about that. I don't have faith in whatever Game Freak does.
But there was that one press conference they just released a few weeks ago where they were like, "We may be kind of listening to you."
No, I don't have faith. Man, Mega Evolution's like they keep making new gimmicks, and all everyone wants is just Mega Evolutions to come back. Dynamaxing sucks. Terrestrialization kind of sucks. It's not as bad, but what Gigantamaxing also not the greatest. And then Z moves from Sun and Moon. Nah, get out of here with that. Just give
Right?
me Mega Evolutions.
What were the ones in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? It was like Happy Fly and Swimmy Surf and
I I know what you're talking about. Those might just be just special moves, but they did bring Mega Evolutions for that one.
were they in that one?
Yeah, they were, and they looked incredible.
It's been a while. How many megas are there in Gen 1? Were all of the Gen 1 megas in there?
Uh, I would assume so. Yeah, yeah. And I was just thinking about this the other day because there was some interview where they were asking like, oh, is this sort of content going to be in, like, whether it's like national decks or like harder battles and stuff, and their excuse was just like something along the lines of like, oh, kids are playing, mobile games nowadays, and they don't have like the attention span for that kind of stuff. But then if you look at like what it takes to 100% Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you essentially have to get every single Pokemon to level 100 and find the master trainer for that specific Pokemon, which is a really difficult fight on its own. And it's just like, well, hold on. The grind for that is just like unbelievable. So like, what is it? Is like, can people like not stick with this, or like, who are you making these games for? Like make up your mind, man.
They'll make it for the hardcore audience if it's convenient and easy.
Exactly.
I didn't even watch the last Pokemon Direct because I'm pretty sure it was all just mobile stuff and then like a little bit of info on the new DLC.
That's exactly what it was. You nailed it.
Yep. Do you have any upcoming games that you're looking forward to?
See, with Baldur's Gate, I've been trying, like, kind of like refusing to play anything else and trying to beat that, but like now I'm a little burned out. Um, but after I beat Baldur's Gate, I'm gonna play Armored Core.
Okay.
I'm really excited to play that. But like anything like new, probably just that Elden Ring DLC if it still comes out this year.
Yeah.
That's oh no, that's not true. Super Mario RPG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That one. I'm so hyped for that.
Yeah. I think it was my Nintendo Direct video where I was saying that like, man, they're making all these remakes of games that I haven't played yet, and I kind of want to go back and play the old games before I play the remakes. But then it's
Yeah,
like I don't have
I
time to
did
do
see that.
either.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That Paper Mario remake. Oh my God. I'm so excited for that. I grew up with Thousand Year Door. Like that part was just like, I'm like, oh my God, they actually did it. I didn't think this day would come.
What's your favorite Mario game? Is it Thousand Year Door?
I guess it depends on what genre we're talking about. In terms of JRPGs, like the Mario Luigi and Paper Mario series, yeah, absolutely Thousand Year Door. In general, Super Mario World, probably. And then
Nice.
maybe like Galaxy is a close number two.
So you prefer the more streamlined, like finely crafted linear experiences?
I don't know, man. I really like, I'm like such a big fan of JRPGs. So like in my mind, they're just separate. Like they're just completely separate.
If you could make your dream video game, what would it be?
It'd probably be some sort of JRPG. I think it would be maybe a fusion of Pokemon with like the visuals of Octopath Traveler.
Ooh, that would be really cool.
Hmm.
Have you ever played? I know you probably haven't. It's another MMO, but have you ever played Ragnarok Online?
No, I haven't.
No. When they first revealed Octopath Traveler, I was super excited for it because it reminded me of Ragnarok Online, which is this old Korean MMO that I used to play. And aesthetically, I still think Octopath Traveler looks so cool, but I can't get into it just because I've played so many JRPGs and it looks kind of aesthetically, it doesn't look the same, but like the plot just looks the same as every other one, or like a bunch of ragtime guys got to get together and overthrow the government or kill God or whatever.
So, I kill God. um, yeah, with Octopath Travel, it's like people rag on it because the characters don't really interact. And Octopath Traveler 2 does it a lot better. And there's even like a whole like final chapter like where they're like 100% like the cutscenes are entirely like all eight characters talking to each other. But each individual story is interesting, and if like you're like kind of like reading and paying attention to what's going on, like it has like that like hidden like subplot where like that secret chapter deals with. And like it's really good. It's really, really good. Like I'm so sad that like people are just like so judgmental on games, and like that really sucks because like you end up missing out on like a lot of hidden gems.
The thing is, you kind of have to be nowadays, especially with long games like RPGs, where you know going in that it's going to take at least 40, 50 hours. You're like, okay, well, I can spend 50 hours playing this one game, or I can spend it playing like three shorter games, or maybe these two other games that look really good, but maybe not quite as good as this one. You know, it's really hard. There's just so much to choose from nowadays.
And I totally get that. Like absolutely more power to you for picking and choosing. But at the same time, it's like, man, people like to just go with the crowd. Like if they just listen to their favorite content creator shit on a game, it's just like, oh, that's my opinion now.
Oh,
And that really sucks.
I
Um,
agree.
Another thing is that like, yeah, man, so many games are fighting for your time. And like recently, what Sony, like a big head of Sony said, like, oh, we're gonna focus more on games as a service. All of our studios are working on games as a service, and it's just like, well, each one of those is fighting for players. Like you're kind of sending them all out to die, and just for like maybe one to potentially work. It's like it's a shame.
And it's super annoying too that like for some reason, I guess because everyone has a phone, those cheaply made gotcha mobile games are
Oh my
making the
God.
most money right now. It's so
Yeah.
annoying.
Mm-hmm. Just people paying for JPEGs. And it's like, I get it. I played I played Fire Emblem Heroes in its early days, and that's really fun. I played Dragon Quest Tactics. That was really fun. Uh and that might have been the two main ones that I got into. And I recently tried Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, but a gotcha is a gotcha, man. And in the end, like that's another thing where it's like they don't respect your time, and that's just because they want your money.
Is Ever Crisis the one that's kind of like a remake of Seven?
Yeah, a remake of all of them, really. Even those Japanese only mobile games.
I haven't tried that Final Fantasy VII mobile game yet. Is it any good?
See, the thing is, like, I would love a Final Fantasy VII, like a true like one-to-one remake with that art style, with that like chibi graphics. Like it looks fantastic. And even like the gameplay itself is pretty good, honestly. It's just the gotcha elements. Like that's what brings everything down.
What do you think about the HD remake?
Absolutely fantastic game.
Aren't
Oh
they?
my God, it's so beautiful. The gameplay is so fun. I played it on PS4, and then when it released like 20 years later on Steam. Uh and I'm in the process of 100%ing it, but man, those final challenges are just like unbelievable. Like to the point where like I have to look up a video and follow like input for input what they're doing because like everything is going so fast and everything just like knocks you out in one hit. Oh my God. But other than that, like it's so good. And I'm just like for the most part I'm PC only. Like I play my Switch a decent amount, but um man, I'm not gonna see Rebirth for like 5, 6 years. And that's sad, especially with how easy it is to get spoiled on games.
I loved remake too. My only complaint with it was some of the filler stuff that they added. I feel like dragged on the game just a little too much. Like
Like what?
like I can't remember any exact moments, but I want to say like it took an extra at least an extra couple hours just to get through the train graveyard area,
Oh, yeah.
and like another couple hours like looking for children in Aerith's town, like just little
Uh-huh.
things like that.
Replaying it on Steam, it was just like, you already know what's coming, you already know like what to do. Because like when I played it on PlayStation, and let me just say this, man, I fucking hate the PlayStation controller so much. I
Really?
hate it so, yeah, I despise it. Um, So it made that game like even more difficult for me because like whenever I would turn on the PlayStation, it's literally just to play exclusives like that. I played a little bit of God of War on that. I played a little bit of Persona 5 on that and Shadow of the Colossus. And like those were really the only reasons I ever turned that thing off. So like I never got familiar with the controller. Oh, and Bloodborne as well.
Are
So
are
yeah,
you mouse and keyboard master race?
only for like first person shooters and third, really just for shooters, I guess.
What's your favorite
Yeah.
controller then?
The Xbox Elite Series 2, that controller is incredible.
I feel like it's not too different from the PlayStation controller. Like, is it just because you have to move your thumb down a little bit to get to the analog stick?
Yeah, I don't like the placements and the face buttons. I'm not familiar with the face buttons.
Okay, okay.
That's pretty much it. But the Elite Series 2 also has the back paddles. And man, I can't play a Souls like without those back paddles anymore. The
What
the only my only gripe is that those controllers can break pretty easily. And I now have a skill for repairing the right bumper on controllers.
what I because I don't have much experience with the back pedals. What do you use those for?
I use it to run because usually the run button is like you have to press and hold B or whatever. But with the back paddles, I can just hold a paddle, I can run and turn the camera at the same time. It's like it makes a world of difference.
Yeah. Getting back to your channel, I guess at least a few people thought that you were the actual voice for Superman.
Oh yeah, dude. That was unbelievable. And that was the first video that popped off, which like it was on a short, so it's like, I mean it means something, but like not as much as a regular video. But I was just like, did you not hear what he said? Did you not hear what Superman said? No, they can't put that out. What are you
Right?
talking about?
Have you
But
ever
it's like I was like, man, these people are fucking stupid. But at the same time, kind of flattered.
right? Have you ever considered getting into voice acting?
Yeah, yeah. Like it used to be a dream of mine to do that, but if you like pay attention to that industry, it's nothing but nepotism.
Yeah.
It's that it disgusts me. Um and have you seen the announcements for the new cast for Yakuza?
No.
It's they introduced like I don't even know how many, like five or six big name YouTubers
Really?
to replace a lot of characters.
Oh
And it's
wow.
it's just like and one of them, well, like Markiplier is one of them, and it's like the dude has like a genuinely like fantastic voice, but it's like, come on, like you know why you did this. It's
Yeah.
it's just marketing reasons. Another one was Young Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No.
Um he's like a gaming news YouTuber. Um uh, he he did a bit of voice acting before being casted for this. And when I listen to that, I'm like, okay, yeah, like yes, he is a big YouTuber, and yes, this is mostly like a marketing thing, like, oh, look, your favorite YouTuber is now the voice of the main character. But at the same time, it's like, okay, this guy at least did work for it. And if you look at his work, like he's actually genuinely good at it. So like that one I'm a little like conflicted on. It's like, some of these people have like talent, but they got the job for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, and so many industries are like that too, unfortunately. Do you have any favorite movies or TV shows?
Oh, well, movies, that one's easy. The South Park movie,
Oh yeah?
bigger, longer, and uncut. Oh, that movie is so good. Also, unbelievably, would also fall under my favorite musical. Just 'cause there's so many songs in that movie.
That's been
I
on my
love South Park.
that's been on my to watch list for like 10 years. I'll watch it eventually.
Shows. I don't everyone's favorite, The Office, I guess. Uh yeah, I don't watch a lot of shows nowadays. It's been a long time. I used to watch Supernatural. That show was great.
Feel like I've heard of that one. What's that one about?
It's a pair of brothers fighting demons, just going around fighting demons and shit.
Nice.
Hmm.
Do you want to let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, I think I'm at a point where you can just search up mostly positive and I might be up there somewhere. So yeah, just look up mostly positive and you'll probably find me. And that's pretty much it. I don't really like using social media, so you probably won't really find me anywhere other than YouTube.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for coming on. It was fun chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. This was fun.
Sure. And we'll keep in touch.
All right. Thank you.